I like the headphones sometimes, but then like in person, I feel like my hair gets all like messed up, and I don't like the look of that. But you know,
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Are you ever self-conscious about that? Like how your hair's looking like with the headphones on?
Yeah. I'm a pretty self-conscious guy.
It's interesting because you're always on stage, or you're on stage a lot. And does that ever show? Like, or do you ever feel that way while performing?
No, because I'm not really thinking about anything but the performance when I'm performing. I'm not like worried about anything. Everything kind of goes out the window when you're actually playing, which is awesome.
Just zoned in on the performance.
Completely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other than like we were saying, like if the tamborine's swirling around the hi-hat and you have to dodge it, it's just the task at hand. It's like surfing. It's like, well, you're only kind of focused on one thing because that's the only thing you really need to focus on.
Right.
So it kind of, your brain goes to one place and nothing else really is in the forefront of your mind other than that, for the most part.
Right. Dude, Scott, I appreciate you coming back. 4th time.
Yeah, it's cool.
4th time back on. You're the first one, and this will be the 203rd one or 4th one.
Damn.
Maybe? Yeah.
Technically level. That's awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah, dude.
Really happy about your success.
I mean, it started with you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We always do it here, and besides, I guess the last time I said that we would do it on Zoom to keep it even. One Zoom, one here, one in person. But
yeah, I mean, I'd way rather do stuff in person.
Yeah.
I don't like Zooms at all. A lot of actually, funny enough, you should say like about insecurity. It's like I just had a video call this morning, and video calls and Zooms, it's like the opposite of playing. It's like you're sitting there staring at yourself, looking horrible, and you're like, "That's what I look like? Fuck, Julia, don't leave me." You know what I mean? It's like, dude, I can't think of a worse situation, at least for trying to like focus on something else besides like staring at a horrible representation about what you look like on Zoom or on a video phone call. You know what I mean? It's like that's like I don't know. It's awful. That's a relatively new technology, and I don't like it at all.
You're not buying into it.
I don't like it. I don't think it doesn't put you in the right mindset. It's just another distraction. Video calls, they're not my thing.
It has pros and cons, just like anything else.
Yeah, exactly. Like I talk with Mick multiple times a week in
Shout
Cornwall.
out to Mick.
Yeah, in Cornwall, and we video chat all the time. I'm not like saying like, oh my god, video is horrible, but like, I'd way rather do stuff in person if possible.
Yeah, it's a pretty good ratio. 3 out of the 4 times.
Exactly, it's cool.
Yeah.
And what was during the pandemic?
Yeah.
So, which seems like a million years ago.
Yeah, I know, right? It's wild. Time flies, but yeah, man, I just appreciate you coming back on and always just being so warm to me, inviting me into your home, dude, to do this. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm stoked. Thanks for cruising over,
dude.
And you get to see the kind of evolution of stuff.
Yeah.
The new studio.
There should be a documentary on this place, documenting the step-by-step process.
Yeah, it's been a lot of kind of retrospect lately, because I'm getting older, and it's like we have a pretty big body of work, and it's like it would be cool to do some documentaries. I've been thinking about a lot of documentary stuff lately.
Yeah.
And one of the things we've been doing is kind of revisiting, remastering stuff. Got the 10-year anniversary, hung it hard. And, it's weird that like the first Growlers album ever, Greatest Hits or Greatest Shits, came out in 2006. So that's almost 20 years ago.
Does it feel like 20 years ago? I mean, does it feel like you were doing that 20 years ago? Or I'm sorry. 20 years ago.
Yeah, 20 years.
Sorry. That just sounds crazy for me to say. It doesn't seem like that was that far away. Yeah.
It's weird because you're not used to, spans of time.
Mm-hmm.
Like spans of time is one of the things that happen as you get older, it's like, whoa, that was, that long ago. It's like, damn, like you kind of earn that. But at the same time, like, I don't know, you do it and then you move on to other stuff and that stuff stays in time where it was. And just so happens that,
There's all these years in between you doing it and where you are now.
yeah.
Wow.
It's not like I think about it every day. It's like, how much time was it between that? But like, it's trippy. It feels like that was 10 years ago.
Okay.
I think everyone's kind of evolved in different ways. But like, like playing Acid Rain with Matt last Happy Sundays, it was like playing that song was like, damn, this is easy. It was like, this is like, do. And it's just, you're in a completely different mindset. It's weird having that much time between playing certain songs and then going back to it. You feel like you're going back to like kindergarten or something like that.
Right. Yeah. And just a rough estimate of like when was the last time you played that song up until last Happy Sundays?
Oh, it would have been 2016. So, 7-8 years.
Yeah, and that's a sizable amount of time.
Yeah, it is.
To be stepping away from some discography like that.
Mm-hmm, totally.
Yeah. So remastering Hung at Heart. What was that like? Kind of going back and viewing those songs and just kind of sitting with the album.
It was really cool. I'm actually remastering the entire Growler's discography of what I recorded.
Mm-hmm.
There's it's really trippy for a lot of different reasons because like Hung at Heart, it's like you hear that and in my brain, I'm listening to that album going like, fuck, that's the coolest sounding album that the Growlers have. And then I listen to it and it's like, oh, actually, because I learned how to master too. Like, and that, you're listening to that going, oh, fuck, I gotta do something about this. And I'm actually really stoked to be able to remaster it because, I think I did a pretty good job. I was trying to like keep it kind of real, but add something to it, keep it, keep the fidelity of the attitude and what
you're
happening.
doing with like couples and stuff too, keeping that kind of a little bit. It seemed like and please correct me if I'm wrong on this or if you feel differently, but it had that feeling of the couples albums and the greatest shits, but a little bit more matured, a little bit more refined in a sense, shifting into that album.
Yeah, I really love that album. I actually did a version of that album. There's a lot of stuff that the Growlers have that I would like to see come out. Greatest Shits and the Couples are not out. I would like to see those come out. I'm remastering them just in case there's ever a chance of putting them out. And I'm mixing them to Atmos, but but they're not out. I want them out. I also did another version of Hung at Heart called the Distillery Tapes. I digitized the 2-inch reels, and it's basically like you put it on the reel and play it all the way through. And so it's just all the chatter in between the songs and different takes, and like it's really charming to listen to. It's like you hear everyone talking, interacting, kind of the way it goes, and it's like, whoa, that was like, it's a period in time where that was, you go back there, and it's just interesting because have you heard like the Frank Sinatra sessions? Check those out. I think they're on Spotify. It's Frank Sinatra sessions, and it's just him kind of shooting the shit in between the songs, and like they make some adjustments to the, like do it like this, like it's,
yeah.
Or like the Beach Boys do one for is it Smile? No, not Smile.
Smile or Pet Sounds.
No, it's not Pet Sounds. It's the one with the vegetable song on it.
Vegetable song. Okay. Well, whatever.
Whatever.
People know.
Yeah.
People. Yeah.
It's rad. It's really cool, and it's just you're just like able to hear what the album just uncut. It's like an uncut version of the album. That's like
and
just
kind of giving a little bit of like a leeway into like what was going on.
Yeah, context.
Surrounding the music. What do you recollect from that time of recording? Going back to that time where you were still in Orange County.
Yes.
Right. Now it was in Costa Mesa that you guys are living.
Yes.
And was this in a house, or was it in some sort of more unconventional space?
Yeah, we did the warehouse thing, and then we found this property in Costa Mesa that was like, it was like in, the city, but there was like a junkyard next door. It was down like an alley. There was just this random house on just a decent sized chained in, I guess yard or like piece of property. It was like, and there's warehouses all around it. It was just this house. And so we parked like the tour bus there. We built a jacuzzi there. We built, it was like, and there was this giant sailboat, probably like a 40-foot sailboat with like a 15-foot rudder on it that was just up on this stand. And you could like climb in there and go in it. It was cool.
Did you ever figure out whose it was, or that was just a mystery?
It was, well, the weird part about that, there is another weird part. It was like the owner of the property's boat. But also, when we were on tour once, Mike McHugh, who owned the distillery, he was staying at the place, and he looked in the attic and he found this old surfboard. It was like a 10-foot or long ass homemade wood surfboard that there's no way that it got in the house was built around the surfboard. And we tore a hole in the ceiling to get the surfboard out of the ceiling. Like there was no other way to get it out. Super trippy.
Did you ever get the backstory on that, or it was just there?
It was just there.
Did anybody ever write it?
I don't know. It looked like it was a project that never got finished. I actually had it here for a while, and then I gave it to the San Clemente Surf Museum.
Right on.
So I think it's there. I don't know where it is now, but
so if it's there, go check it out.
Yeah, I don't think it was finished. I don't think it was rideable because there was a hole in it, but it was hollow. Wow. But there was like a leash plug or something that was, like diameter of this microphone hole. So there's no way you could take it out in the ocean. It was big, maybe like 12 to 15 feet or something like that.
Wow, that's wild. And it was shoved in the wall.
The house was like built around it, and that house actually, well, the house didn't burn down, but that was where the fire was too, in the garage.
Mm-hmm. Taking a step back, because you were originally from Dana Point, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
When you first moved out of your parents' house, did you move in with them, with the band?
No, I had been out for a little while.
Okay.
I went, well, I was kind of in and out. Like, I moved out for a while, and then I moved back in, and then I ended up going to Rome to do an internship.
Right.
So right. I was kind of like
back and forth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then when you returned, this is like 2006-ish?
I got back
2005 maybe?
Rome was like, I was like 22, so this was like
2004.
2003, 2004.
Yeah. So when you moved in, I mean, like, was it like you were looking for a place to stay kind of a thing, or did it just so happen that, because it was all you guys, right? All you guys under one roof?
Eventually, like, I kind of started playing with the band, and they were living in this place, and then let's see what happened.
And had you guys like kind of crossed paths, but even before joining the band?
Well, I knew Matt and Brooks from like middle school.
Okay, yeah. So, I mean, you guys would like cross paths every once in a while, and then, but everybody's just doing music at the same time?
Yeah, exactly. So, it was something where like, my little brother, like, kind of knew they were doing stuff, and I went and saw them and kind of, ended up recording them and then kind of playing bass, and then it was kind of like
just a natural progression.
Just a natural thing. So I was like, okay, like, I think this can work. And then I think it worked, felt good. It was like fun to do. And then just kind of went from there.
Right. When you moved in with them, what was your like daily routine like?
Well, everyone had jobs.
What were you doing at the time?
Let's see. Eventually, at some point, Matt got me a job at an art gallery in Laguna Beach, and then I was the gallery administrator doing all the computer stuff for, I don't know how long that lasted, but at some point, we were all able to step onto music full time. So there was a lot of like double duty going on, and then eventually we were able to take the leap onto just doing music.
And were you traveling from Costa Mesa to Laguna every day to do this?
Yes.
Oh man, is it the art gallery that's still there on PCL on the PCH?
Yeah,
over there.
I don't think it's called Finger Hut anymore, but it's I think it's the Russian dude. What's his name? Right on the corner of Ocean and PCH.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Right on.
Russian guy. I can't remember. Vladimir Kush. Kush Gallery. That's what it is. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Butterfly boats and whatever.
And I mean, that's a really legit title to have.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's pretty close to docent. How long were you there for?
I don't remember. That's a fuzzy one. It's all kind of fuzzy at this point. I'm realizing my memory isn't like the best with dates, which is trippy because I talk to people. Like I talked to the dude Harold Brown the other day who drums for War. He remembered everything, every single thing all the time. Like, oh man, I'm like, I don't know how I can't pull that out like that, but there's certain things like how long did I work there? I really don't remember. I could check my emails.
So we'll check the emails and we'll get back to that question in a bit. So, I mean, you're working on music with everybody, and is this when you were still on bass at the time?
Let's see. I switched to drums either when I'm pretty sure Gay Thoughts was when I switched to drums. So around when Gay Thoughts originally came out.
Was 2011 maybe?
Something like that. Yeah, 10, 11.
And then Stonio came in
same time. Yeah.
To step on the bass.
Yes. And then same with Kyle Straka. So
that was around that time.
It was all around the same time.
And again, we're gonna check the emails on that to get the exact.
Well, there was a bunch of recordings where it wasn't everyone. It was kind of a couple people, So there was a kind of a shift at some point. I don't exactly remember the specifics of it, but I can check my emails.
Yeah, we're gonna check the emails on that. So I mean, around this time, you're living in Orange County with the band, you guys working on music and stuff. Did you guys feel like you were kind of isolated from people that were doing music at the time, or the contemporaries, or was there a scene that you felt was happening in Orange County?
We weren't isolated. There was a lot of music happening, and definitely didn't feel isolated. Felt actually very
energetic, maybe.
There was a lot. There was a lot going on. It was cool.
Were there places that you guys would play regularly that you're like, oh, we got like a place here or whatever?
We played the Observatory a lot. That was kind of where we did Beach Goth, and we played there a decent amount of times. Yeah.
Were you playing at like other places like the Wayfair, which was, I guess, would be Detroit Bar?
Yeah, Detroit Bar. That place too. And then across the street was it was another bar. I can't remember what it was called.
It's probably called something else now.
It's called something else now, yeah.
Semi-Tropic Wines is over there now, and the other one
was called something. Again, I'll have to check my emails.
We're going to check the emails on that, yeah.
But yeah, Detroit Bar, that was cool. There was a lot going on. We played Detroit Bar a lot, actually, because we lived down the street from that. That's where the house was.
I mean, so looking back on it, did you feel like that was the place to be?
No, because in order to develop the band, you have to tour. And so we toured very heavily for a really long time.
Do you remember the first tour?
I made a video about the first tour with a bunch of footage. It's on either my YouTube channel or something. I don't know where it is, but it's like Growlers Tour something. Yeah, it's just a bunch of stupid footage from tour.
So at that point, were you just like strictly music at that early touring stage?
I was constantly working. So from the time that I started playing with the band, I was constantly working. Like I recorded all the albums and did as much of the graphic design as needed to be done. Was learning how to do websites because of the band, learning how to do Photoshop and Illustrator because of the band, and kind of did whatever needed to be done. I was in it. Like, it wasn't it was like a death or glory kind of thing. It was like, dude, no, this is happening. So, and I knew it was
all your chips were in.
Yes,
you're like, yeah,
definitely, yeah.
And did you feel that was the sense in the whole band? It's like we're all full bore on this one thing.
Yeah, everyone was all in. There was a lot of dedication.
What was that like? That kind of group mentality of we're going to do it. We're going to do this.
It was cool because it worked and it continued to work, and you just continue to see growth and continue to see success. I mean, I guess at the time, maybe you know, like there's 20 more people at shows kind of thing. And it's like, you get to see the progress, and it never like went backwards. Like, there wasn't like a time where you're like, oh man, like the crowds are getting smaller kind of thing.
It was just expanding.
It was always getting bigger and bigger, and there was always bigger stuff happening. Yeah.
Did you feel like Hung at Heart was a huge step for the band?
I think so. I don't remember like what the biggest show playing Hung at Heart with around that time was, but we were definitely touring a lot, and shows were consistently good, like around the world, which was really cool.
Yeah, you guys are doing international shows around that time, 2012.
Oh yeah. We started doing international pretty much as soon as Are You In or Out came out.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And that was
2009, I think.
Wow. And that's only like 3 years after the formation of the band. I mean, that's pretty quick.
Well, the thing about Are You In or Out is that album is a collection of songs taken from Greatest Shits and from the Couples. Same with Hot Tropics, for the most part. Like, we kind of cherry-picked selections and then compiled those unreleased Greatest Hits and Couples and used those songs as Are You In or Out, which is great. I mean, I love JP and Andy and Ever Loving. I love all the help they've given us. They've supported me personally, because Soft Palms is still on Ever Loving. Basically my entire, I guess, quote unquote career. And yeah. But a couple of the songs had to be chopped down to fit on the vinyl.
Was there some that are sticking out to you? They're like, yeah, we had to trim that.
Well, yeah, like Empty Bones got trimmed, and Stranger's Road got trimmed, like half of the end kind of like instrumental kind of solo part, because that goes on for a little while and it gets cool. So like, and it's nothing against like the label or the records. It's just the time that we wanted to cram as much as we could on there, so we had to, you know, chop a couple things up.
Yeah.
Which I don't really like editing stuff down for time, for radio, whatever. And it's cool it's out there, but I would like it if the other versions could be out there as well.
Going back to the remastering of Hung at Heart, what was, I mean, was this kind of the first time that you sat down with this album for in a while and kind of just listened to it while remastering?
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I hadn't listened to it at all. And it was nice to listen to. It's a great album, and I don't know. It's just, it is very vibey and very cool. And the cool thing about it is that it's all live.
Really?
Yeah, it's all live, 100%.
Wow.
Like Chinese Fountain's tracked, and a few of the other ones are tracked. But Hung at Heart is totally live. It's cool.
And for the folks at home and myself as well, what is remastering? What were you doing with that album?
I don't even think that album got mastered. What mastering is it's taking the stereo
mix
and preparing it for delivery for different formats. But one of the things you can do is kind of put a polish on the whole thing. Like EQ, compression, limiting, but there's also almost more you can do in mastering. I don't know. I got deep into this stuff. There's like shape, like I don't even know how to explain it. There's just like shape. There's ups and downs. You can like position it up and down in the stereo field. It feels like it's there, and there's like, it's like it's like a ball, and you shape it. And so like hearing, like you listen to it and you're like, damn, I had no idea. Just like the rest of these, like Are You and I on Hot Tropics, I remastered those. Dude, I don't know who mastered those, but fucking destroyed the mixes. Like, I'm so stoked to be able to remaster those, because the mixes are good. Like, they're really good. And it's kind of cool because I'm very proud of my work, because those are some of the first albums I ever did. And it's like, listen to it, like, damn, this is cool. I'm very stoked on it. And the versions that are out right now are don't do the original mixes much justice. I would like to see if I can swap them out.
Yeah.
But whatever. But no, actually, it's coming out in Atmos pretty soon. Hung at Heart. You get to hear the remastered, because that was only printed on vinyl. But yeah, I can't speak too much for what's going to happen. But yeah, I'm stoked.
I mean, stay tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned.
Yeah. It's, I mean, is it kind of a rare occurrence for you to go back and listen to an album that you already put out once it's released? I mean, once you're past mixing and mastering, and I mean, you're just going to play it. Do you ever go back and listen to it, or have you, or was it kind of like a more rare kind of thing?
I do, but it's always scary, because I don't know, for some reason I'm always freaked out that I'm going to hear something that went wrong. Like listening to the Soft Palms album, it's like I'm always stoked. There's always like a relief when you hear something and you're like, oh, it still sounds good. I'm still into it. Like, and there was no skips or, you know, anything breaking, because I don't know. I think you just get so worried about that, that when everything's fine, you almost like, there's like a relief that comes to it. I haven't heard the new Hung at Heart remaster on vinyl. I have copies, but I haven't heard it on vinyl yet, because I'm so freaked out. I know it sounds really good. But I haven't brought myself to be able to listen to it.
Well, I think you're gonna enjoy it.
I've heard it plenty of times. I've heard it over and over and over. I just haven't heard it on vinyl.
With this remaster, there's also you also included the demos.
Yes.
For the Hung at Heart stuff.
Yeah. Which
was awesome. I love to hear that. Was that the first take of these songs that wound up on Hung at Heart?
Yeah, that was just like sketches of the songs that like Matt and Brooks were throwing around. Mm-hmm. And yeah, that's what they were. That's like how songs begin. Yeah,
that was the jumping off point, which mm-hmm. are it's so awesome that those are available as well, especially on vinyl.
Yeah, you hear the evolution. You kind of hear that, you know, you don't just hear a record and that comes from nowhere. I guess maybe sometimes it does, but like, you know, it's cool to hear where it starts. It's
processes.
Yeah.
Processes.
The process.
All right. Do you remember when those came out? That the original kind of release of that, and was that pre Hung at Heart coming out that was released?
I don't think so. Those came out on a cassette tape for some reason. I don't remember why. Some stuff is albums, some stuff is like kind of promo, some stuff is just stuff. It escapes me. I'd have to check my emails.
Again, we'll have links to all those. We'll CC everybody that wants to know about the emails.
Yeah, follow up dates.
Yeah, we got
start putting a date thing together.
Yeah, got a whole timeline going on this thing.
I actually, funny. Speaking of dates, one of the things that I've been putting together lately is a master list of all of the albums that I've ever done, with all the ISRCs, ISWCs, UPCs, song lengths, release dates, performers. So I have this spreadsheet because of metadata and royalties, which is I've been in a metadata / royalties mission of discovery lately. Anyone that's listening to the podcast that does make music, this shit is important. There's codes, and I don't know if we want to talk about this right now, but we can get into it later. But there's certain codes that everyone has / should have. If you don't have it, get it, because it deals with metadata. Like, it's basically like a social security number for you as a entity that makes music. If you think of yourself as a number, this is your number. It's called an ISNI number, and an IPI number. So I don't know where you get that. I don't know where I got my ISNI. I don't know where anyone in the band got their ISNIs. I don't know where Julia got hers. But you get your IPIs from Ascap or BMI. Yeah. So those are, but you can get an ISNI if you don't have one. You should get one for your band, and you should get one for yourself. Every member of the band should have one, but the band should also have one.
So one for the band, one for everybody who is in the band recording stuff.
Yes.
Now, is there I'm assuming it's online that people could register, I guess would be the right term for that?
Quansic, QUANSIC.com.
Quansic, okay.
There's an explorer on there, explorer.quansic.com. You can register for a free account, and if you don't have an ISNI, it costs 10 euros, and you get one, and it's great.
It's 10 euros each?
10 euros each ISNI, unless you already have one for some reason. And every song should have an ISRC number, an ISWC number, a BOWI number, and yeah, that's it. Yes.
And for the folks unfamiliar with that, what does that allow them, or what does that do for the song, for the bands?
It allows you to kind of like keep track of your song. So if you upload your song to a streaming service like Spotify, the ISRCs are embedded in the track. So that just gets linked back to the label or the distributor that will then give you royalties. So it's like making sure that everything is in place to where it's record keeping. If a song doesn't have an ISRC and doesn't have anything attached to it, you're totally relying on chance for anything to come of that track when it comes to like getting your royalties from it.
So it's proactively taking the steps to make sure that you get every penny that you can from your own music.
Yes. Where I'm at is there's a point to where certain information, there's embedded and unembedded metadata. Embedded would be ISRCs and stuff like performers and copyrights, and I can pull it up, but the unembedded stuff is an ISNI number, like credits. Apple has an XML sheet that accompanies all the releases that has this information in an XML file. I don't know. I'm pretty sure distributors have a way of generating these. I'm still trying to figure this out because Apple has their own code words. They have their own genre codes. They have their own like specific ways they want you to put in your metadata to these XML files. I have the spreadsheets that tell you what they are, but I don't exactly know how to I'd hand make it. It's like doing HTML. It's code.
Yeah.
Which I'll gladly do code. I just don't know if there's like a easier way to do it because I don't want to fuck it up.
Mm-hmm. Now, how did you become aware of this process of the metadata and whatnot?
From Mick Bogus. He taught me how to master, which is kind of my practice mastering was remastering Hung and Hard. That was, so it took me a long time to do. I went through like seven different masters of it. It got way blown out of proportion, and then I kind of started to understand more what mid-side was and just kind of understand more stuff. And the last version is obviously the best one, but it it got pretty ugly there for a second. Like listening back, I'm like, oh, what was I thinking? Because I was like, oh, this is awesome. It's like, no, it wasn't awesome. As you just get more used to it. But part of mastering is metadata. So you're embedding all of the relevant information to that track, record label, band name, ISRC numbers, codes, and making sure that's all in there. And this is all relatively new stuff. So like moving forward, it takes a long time. I can show you like what the fields for. I'll show you later because I don't want to disrupt Studio One, but there's a lot of different stuff you can embed and a lot of different stuff. Some get attached to MP3s, some get attached to WAV files, some are only embeddable in broadcast WAV files, and there's DDP albums that have certain information. So there's a bunch of different types of metadata that are only available in different types of files. And making sure that's all there. It's just making sure that your songs are properly labeled and tagged.
Yeah. And that's, as we know, it's very difficult to be a musician and very difficult to get money out of, these streaming services that everybody's on, unfortunately. And, to get the most out of that is crucial. And this is what you're exploring right now.
Turns out that me and Julia, I was only getting about 25% of my royalties up until about, I don't know, a month and a half ago. I didn't even know this. And a lot of my friends, I'm like, dude, like I just found this out. And it turns out they're not getting all their royalties either because it's like, it's not common knowledge, like how to do these royalties. It's super confusing. And yeah, like streaming services don't pay shit, which is a whole nother thing. But also, if you're not collecting any of it, then they're not paying you anything. So like, I didn't realize that I wasn't getting a whole portion of my royalties because I didn't understand what was happening and I didn't know how to collect them. So there's a site called the MLC.com that collects, like it's digital publishing royalties. That's like Untapped. So I registered for it and I haven't completed all of mine, but I've completed it for Julia. And it turns out that all of her coat hangers royalties were just sitting there. Like it's a whole untapped thing.
Oh, so it's not, you can still claim it?
You can still claim it. They're just they're just sitting there. If no one's collecting, then they don't, it's not like they just keep it. Like it's there. They just haven't gotten it.
And you could see the amount that you're owed, or is not, it's unclaimed?
It's interesting because they have like dollar signs next to each track. And like some tracks have like $4 signs with me, just like $250 that's just sitting there. And it says like retroactively, like there's a like 2019. This is a brand new thing. It's relatively new. So stuff that was collected before 2019 has like a B, and then after 2019 has like an H, or if it's flipped, I don't even know. Well, B, I don't know what it means, but anyway,
it means something.
All of our stuff that was released before 2019 had the fucking release before 2019. It's like, so yes, it has all been sitting there and no one's touched it, and it guarantees the same with the growlers too. It's like, so I'm trying to help everyone else with their royalties. It's all sitting there. I'm taking my cut, like my percentages,
what is due to you,
what I get from everything else, because everyone should have their own splits, but it's all there, so, and it's untouched.
So by the time this comes out, the beginning processes of these websites that Scott just mentioned, they'll be linked below. So for any musicians that are listening right now, scroll down on Spotify or YouTube or Apple Podcasts. Those are the three places that it is, and click these links, and I'll have them linked. And go investigate this, because that's so important, dude.
It's like arguably the most important thing, because you make music and you put it out, but if you're not collecting the money, then you're not going to get paid at all. Because no one's gonna like say, hey, we got this money sitting here for you. You want to collect it? It's like, no, you have to like do the research and sign up for these collection, I don't know if the word is collection agencies, CMOs and PROs. CMOs and PROs are the two different things. I can't remember what they're called. Performing rights organizations and CMOs. I don't remember. But there's a lot of acronyms. But so what I'll do is I'll give you links and I'll give you the codes that you need. ISNIs, IPIs, ISRCs, and ISWCs are the 4 biggies for the performers and the tracks themselves.
And again, the links and the codes will be linked below whatever you listen to. So finish this podcast and then do your research and type in all those codes. The codes will be there. The links will be there. So just scroll on down and check those out. And I appreciate you bringing this up, Scott. Because this is a big issue because historically, musicians trying to get something started. It's very, very, very difficult.
Yeah.
In any arts, and music in particular is no exception to this rule. So I really appreciate you bringing this to this podcast and kind of spreading the awareness of this. Right on,
Dude,
man.
It's my job. Like I find this out, and then come to find out that I didn't get it, and then after all this time, if I didn't get it, I know for a fact that a lot of other people didn't either. Because I've always been super on it. Like I've always tried to be as organized as possible. Mm-hmm. And royalties has always been something that's been so like kind of nebulous. It's like, what the hell is it?
It's a good question.
Yeah, I know. So the best chance of doing it is to connect all the dots, embed your ISRC codes, embed your ISRC codes, have your ISNI codes accompanying the song, and it will always come back to you. And if you set these up like with the MLC, moving forward, you'll get all your royalties. So they just automatically give you direct deposit every month with your royalties. But that's only in the United States. One thing that I've been trying to figure out is where the overlap is. So like the MLC is it's subsidized by the government because of the Music Fairness Act or something like that.
Yeah, okay.
And so it's a nonprofit organization that collects a certain type of royalties, but it only collects it in the United States. I'm trying to figure out now who collects those types of royalties everywhere else in the world. So I've been kind of reaching out to all these different CMOs and PROs internationally that may or may not collect. So depending on who's listening, like I know Ascap covers most of this stuff, most of the world, and most of the PROs and CMOs I reached out to said, oh, if you have SoundExchange and Ascap that are collecting most of the world, they pretty much got it covered. But the one type, the MLC, type of royalties they collect, Ascap and SoundExchange don't collect. So I'm trying to figure out how to get that. That's where I'm at. So this journey isn't over. I definitely don't have all the answers, but I have enough to be able to give you some links.
If you are a musician or know a musician that is putting stuff out through Spotify, these streaming services, please tell them about these links and direct them to this podcast link. Everything is that we know of so far, the starting points at least, will be linked below of whatever you're listening to this on. And yeah, I appreciate you bringing this to people's attention, Scott.
Totally. I'll send you all the links to the best of my knowledge about what as of right now to do. As far as I know in my journey, like the MLC bulk uploader is a little bit complicated, and the way that has to happen is a little bit complicated too. But if you know these codes, if you have the ISRCs and ISWC codes and your IPI code and your ISNI code, that is all you really need. And you have to know your splits too. And that's just another thing, like communication with everyone else in the band, agreeing on what the splits are. Because for ASCAP, they collect songwriting and publishing. So you get 20% of the song. That means you have to register for 20% of songwriting and 20% of publishing as well. So, and that's a little bit complicated too, because that doesn't make any fucking sense.
Right.
Yeah, and I don't think I'm pretty sure these companies, because they're all nonprofits, except for SoundExchange. I don't think that's a nonprofit, but they collect a certain type of performance royalties as well. So it's confusing, and there's a lot of different stuff. But I think I found this kind of part, at least this whole black box that everyone keeps talking about. Oh, it's all there. You just got to collect it. You just got to find it. It's like, well, I think I found at least a piece of it.
This is the beginning of a map.
Beginning of a map.
Yeah. Okay. Right on, dude. Scott, I appreciate you bringing this to attention. And yeah, we will. I mean, if there's more ground to cover later on, we'll just do a whole separate video, and we'll cover this and whatever else you found out. But I mean, dude, to make that leeway for people, and at least giving them a starting point on where to figure this out. I mean, that's huge, man.
Yeah. Thanks. And if anyone listening has any information, like, please send it to us.
DM, let's narrow it down. Studios for Schools. How about that?
Studios for Schools.
Okay.
Instagram.
Studio for Schools Instagram, which will also already be linked below.
Or Scott Montoya, Scott Montoya Instagram.
By the way, real quick, is that Bond, James Bond?
You know it.
Okay, cool. I was wondering about. I'm glad you mentioned that. We're covering a lot of good stuff here.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, royalties and everything, blah 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 blah. But let's get down to the Instagram names.
Cool. Yeah. Bond, James Bond. Well, I had Scott Montoya, then I deleted it because this is when first. I really have never liked social media, and I had an Instagram account begrudgingly when it first came out, Scott Montoya, and then I deleted it because I hated it, and then I can't get that back. So, Montoya, Scott Montoya.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Real quick, going back to Hung at Heart though.
Yeah.
Those demos that we were talking about earlier, that was released with the vinyl for the first time on vinyl. So you got the remastered, and you got the demos. Did you go from the demos to working with Dan Arbach? Was that kind of the jump?
Yeah, we went from the demos and made them into regular songs, played them, and then we went and recorded with Dan.
Did you guys go down to Nashville to record that?
Yes, spent a couple weeks in Nashville.
What was that like? I mean, what do you remember from that?
Oh, it was great.
Those travels, yeah.
Oh, Dan rules.
Oh yeah.
And he has a great studio, great guy. We actually one night we got to, because he had a show in New York, and he's like, "Hey guys, we're playing a show in New York for something. Got a private jet. You guys want to go?" So we're like, sick. So we all piled into this private jet, flew to New York, and partied in New York, and then flew back to Nashville that night.
That same day.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Oh, that is rad.
Yeah, so that was really fun. That was a really
all of you guys, all
of us.
5 of you guys.
Yes.
And Dan and it was a Black Keys.
We met Patrick there, but the tour manager was there.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, no, Patrick wasn't on the flight. It was just Dan, us and Dan and tour manager. So that was fun. That was really fun.
Dude, that's so rad.
Yeah, because you can take anything you want. We just took a bottle of whiskey on the plane. Just like you walk on the tarmac onto the plane, and you're just in the air. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Private jets are really awesome.
Where'd you land? Yeah, shout out to private jets, obviously.
JFK.
JFK?
Yeah, Nashville to JFK.
Mm-hmm.
Played the show, partied in New York, and then flew back that night. It was fucking
you
insane.
You guys just came to just hang.
Yeah, we just went to
You
hang.
guys didn't have to play or nothing.
We didn't have to do anything.
Yeah. What was your were you a big whiskey guy back then?
Yes.
Was everybody in the band?
Yes.
Whiskey. What was the choice? The whiskey of choice.
Doesn't matter. Actually, I realized a long time ago that you can bring the little airliner bottles.
Mm-hmm.
You can bring as many of those as you want on a plane.
That's a little travel hack. I did not know that.
I know. I found that out because I bought it fucking like a brick and brought it through security onto the plane.
In a little baggie?
No, like fucking just on its own.
Oh, wait, you just piled it into like a little tub thing?
You can take, at least back then, I mean, this was post 9/11. I don't think, when everything changed, I don't think it's changed.
I mean, this is way post 9/11. This is like 2013,
this is like
2014.
basically contemporary airline rules. Unless something's changed that I don't know about, you can bring as many of those on a plane as you want.
Yeah.
So do it.
Yeah. So I mean, in those days, there was there's some leaner times for the band at some point, right?
No, you mean we were broke?
Yeah, I didn't
Yes.
want to. I don't want to. I prefer leaner. Yeah, but
Yeah, we were broke until 2015.
what were you? I mean, like, was there certain spots around like Costa Mesa or whatever that you'd go like, I'm going here to eat because they got like a good deal on stuff, food or whatever, or like was there bars that you'd go to like they got like a special drink, special whatever?
There was Gloria's on Placentia, and that was a good Mexican food place.
Cheap.
Yeah, relatively. I honestly I don't remember what I ate. I didn't really, when I was home, I always was working. So I wasn't really like, I don't know. It might have been, there was a period where I ate kind of nothing but oatmeal, and trail mix and coffee. But I don't know. I honestly don't remember. I remember like, I know Julia, she'll give me shit about this occasionally. She's like, dude, you only ate oatmeal for some fucking reason. And actually what I used to do, because when I worked at Finger Hut, there was a Whole Foods around the corner, and I used to go every morning. I'd go, because you can get bulk at Whole Foods. So what I do is I'd get a soup bowl from the soup place or whatever in Whole Foods, walk it over to the bulk section, fill it up with like nuts and raisins and shit, and then I'd top it off with oatmeal, and I'd go ring that up, and it was like 23 cents for like a big bowl of oatmeal with nuts. So it was pretty cool. Although one time it tipped over, and that was pretty embarrassing. Oh. Yeah, right in front of the cashier. She didn't say anything, but we both knew.
Yeah,
we both knew that I was busted.
There's a feeling.
Yeah.
In the air. Did you go back after that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Next day, how you doing?
Yeah. When I say we were broke until 2015, it was because we were just in debt until 2015. So it's not necessarily we were broke, but it's like being in a band is very expensive. To the point where I don't even know how people do it anymore. Like you get 5 people, plane tickets to Europe, luggage, per diems or whatever, however much you get.
And you can't use Dan's PJ all the time. So
yeah, exactly. As much as I would love to, it's $10,000. It was $10,000 to rent the jet for the day, so 10,000 round trip.
Sheesh. So 5 and 5.
Yeah, which for 7 people there and back, 7 people round trip. I mean, it's not that outlandish. Like, I love private jets, but I like first class more. First class is cool. I haven't flown first class a lot, but between first class and private jets, I don't know what I'd choose. Probably private, because you kind of can show up and leave whenever you want. Mm-hmm. But first class, you got that lounge.
You can cool guy it.
Yeah.
When it finally came out, what was your feeling towards it when it originally was released?
I loved it.
Like, yeah. It's finally done and we're finished with it.
I don't remember having like a sense of relief. I just remember it being really stoked. I thought it was a great album.
Yeah.
And it's weird, like looking back, like I think at the time I was just so much in work mode that you don't it's like an album comes out, yay, but it's like, okay, well now we just got to get back to touring and get back to work. So it's like something comes out, and there's like it feels good, but the best part about releasing an album is like before it's released, because it gets released and it does whatever it does, but it's like opening a present. It's like the best part of opening a present is, before you open the present, because what's in the present.
Yeah, what's in it.
And then you open it, it's like, okay, I liked not knowing, you know what I mean? It's like
the anticipation.
The anticipation
is better than
the anticipation. Yeah. For just every record. I think that's just the basic rule about releasing a record is it's I don't think it's ever going to be as
Grandiose.
Well, even like, we're watching the Olympics and it's like, well, they got the gold. Callie Voss got his gold. And I'm sure he's stoked, but like, the feeling wears off and then you just have more work. So like, it's all just work. It's work. Because then you have to do videos and then you have to go on tour and you have to write another album. It's like, it just never stops. It's fun, but
it's part of the hustle.
It's constant. It's just constant.
It was that. I mean, it wasn't the first time, but it was like the first full length of you on the kit.
Yes, it was.
Did that make your mind move in a different direction, moving from bass to drums?
Drums, you're kind of in more control.
Mm-hmm.
And I did, looking back, I played a lot faster than I don't think I understood drums as much as I do now back then, because I don't know. I wish I would have slowed down a lot. Actually, there's a video, we played Lollapalooza, and it's super fast. I was really tired, and then all of a sudden everyone's yelling at me, go on stage, you gotta do this, blah, blah. Getting rushed around, and I'm like, and like, you get someone all, you don't want to like pump up the drummer.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to rile them up,
rattle the
big
cage.
show, yeah, because it's like, well, what do you think's gonna happen? It's gonna be super fast,
yeah.
And I love playing fast. Like I really enjoy it, and that's just what happened.
Yeah. But it's pretty fun getting all that energy out, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. I love drumming. It's super fun, and but I should have slowed down more times than not. I think it's more of an experience thing. But dude, I got a lot of energy.
Yeah.
What do you expect? I don't know. Whatever.
That's what I expect.
Yeah.
Yeah. At least you're having fun.
I was having a blast.
In my opinion, I feel like a couple of the biggest songs came off of that album.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Beach Rats, 1 Million Lovers, Someday. I mean, those are pretty big staples in the discography, I'd say.
Yeah, totally. I think that album is, all the songs are great.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's cool because if you go forward, it's still good. Like, you got Chinese Fountain, which is a great album. And then if you go backwards, it's not like you're, watching older episodes of The Simpsons where it gets slower pace and the animation kind of sucks. It's like, it's actually, the older stuff is great too. I want the older stuff to come out in its original context, which kind of makes it make more sense as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because Are You In or Out and Hot Tropics are great albums, but they're not, those tracks aren't in the original context.
Is there a song that stands out to you from Hung at Heart, just personally? You're like, yeah, I really like that one.
I like 1 Million Lovers a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Great song.
Fantastic.
Let me think. Let me scan through them real quick. Yeah, probably that one. I think that one's the best one on the album. And it is just a great song. It's super catchy.
Yeah, definitely.
And, just kind of like think about the album and think about one song not being on the album and if it would be the same album. I think there's some songs that if they weren't on the album, would stay relatively the same. But I think taking that song off the album would change it. Yeah.
Drastically.
Yes, drastically. So that's an interesting way of looking at the kind of importance of a song on a particular record.
Yeah, it's an interesting case because that cannot be said for many albums. You can lose a song and it's still a great album, or it's still a lousy album. But to have a song that is like a pillar like that, I think it's a rarity in general.
Yeah, it's a good song. It's a real good song.
Great song. Yeah. Was that one that you really enjoyed playing live?
Yeah, I like it a lot.
Yeah.
It's a fun beat, fun song. And it changed it up because during the chorus, you kind of get a little more, like you give it a little more kind of feel. Mm-hmm. And it changes it up, makes it very interesting because you're kind of focusing on the vibe of the chorus, kind of slowing it down a little bit to give it kind of and then the verse kind of comes back in a little more kind of like walking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is great ebb and flow of it.
Yeah.
Was there one song to your recollection that you guys recorded and it came out, but you guys really didn't, it just didn't make it into the set list very often, or maybe even you only played it once, if at all?
Maybe off Hung at Heart, maybe like It's No Use. We didn't really play it too much.
Yeah.
It's like that's more of a album song experience, but live it's like it doesn't really seem necessary.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be fine, but it just there are other songs because there's so many songs.
Yeah.
It's like
14 songs.
I mean, it's in the whole up to that point in the whole like discography.
Oh yeah, well, definitely.
So it's like, you know, if you're not playing the entire thing, then you're gonna have to make some cuts. Be a little more choosy about what you play live, and I think keeping the energy up is never a bad thing.
No. From the greatest shits and couples albums, do you feel like you guys played those songs at least once? At least at like the release parties?
The songs that aren't out, a lot of them are the songs that the band originally kind of got popular for playing.
Like, for instance...
Like Her Command, Average Man, a song called Slackback Boot Man.
Black Jungle Supreme.
That's a newer one. Yeah. That one's out. Actually, that one's cut too. That one is kind of chopped. That's my dad's favorite song, actually.
He's got good taste.
It's super funny because the story behind that song is Matt made the art for Couples 4, and then he wrote Black Jungle Supreme as a song title. But that wasn't, it's like, okay, cool, you put that on there, but it's not a song. So we just sat down, he and I sat down one day and just kind of made that song. And I thought it was really it's super funny. It's just a stupid song.
I like it. It's because it's got some catch to it.
Yeah, it's funny. Matt's really talented.
Yeah, and I mean, so is everybody. I mean,
everyone's really talented.
To make
everyone's got their thing.
Everyone's got their thing, and I mean, especially all you guys coming together to create this thing was super special.
Oh, shit.
We're gonna, and for people, we're taking calls now, so. Like No Trees in the Desert, for example.
That song too. Oh, that's out though, isn't it?
Yeah, that is.
Is that on Are You In or Out?
Yeah, and that's actually cut. I mean, sliced.
Cut up a little bit?
Cut up a little bit.
That song's out. I mean, I actually have this list right here. I could look.
Yeah, so let's take a gander. What do we got on here?
Greatest hits. You got Golden Vine isn't out. A bunch of songs Matt did. Sunset Girl, Freedom Children, Slackback, Solar Coral. That song is so sick. Conquered Sun
was also another one. Speaking of, I mean, this came to mind. Barnacle Beat.
Yeah,
was another one that I really enjoyed from that.
That's the first song that me and Matt and Brooks ever wrote together.
Really?
So that's our first song. And
what do you remember about writing that?
I don't know, because I played like that. A bunch of songs were already written before I joined the band, but I just wrote bass parts for them. But that was, I don't know, it was just kind of what happened. One song that I really like that isn't out is called Mean People Suck.
Yeah.
That song is great.
Was that one that you guys ever played? Or was that just kind of one that never...
It was one, I don't know. But it turned out great. This is a cool song.
Yeah, very cool song. Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh, there was just a really super creative period was making these records, because it was just, I mean, it's not like there was no pressure, but we were just churning them out, and it was all really fun, and they all turned out great because we were pushing ourselves. We wanted to do eight releases in 8 months, and that was what we did. And it was, I mean, it kind of, got really burny outy by the end, but dude, the last song it was supposed to be 2 tracks per couples. We called them couples because instead of singles.
Yeah. I never pieced that together until
yeah, it was supposed to be 2, but the last one ended up being 14 songs. So like, and then People Don't Change Blues. That song turned out really cool.
Speaking on that, you when you recorded that, I mean, this is really inside baseball for this one song. Were you playing percussion on that?
Yeah, that was just me and Matt.
That was just you guys.
Yeah.
Now, what were you playing on the recorded version?
On that one, I played drums and bass, and Matt he sung it and played guitar and played I think he played you hear I played that keyboard part. So,
but were you just like laying down the stick on the snare?
Yeah, it was just
tambourine. It sounds like
Dicky. No, there's kick on there.
It's a little bit kick. Okay.
It's a hi-hat, stick, snare, and kick. Yeah,
and it was sped up a little bit, like when you guys would play it live, right?
Oh yeah, it's super sped up.
Yeah,
because like it's just different. Like playing live stuff. I don't know. It's looser, but you have a different goal. Like records, you're trying to make a record, something that sounds good. You listen to. I don't necessarily think. I mean, I like with the Soft Palms. Like we're not trying to like replicate what's on the record because we can't, because it's just me and Julia that play, or Julia and I. So, we're not trying to make it exactly the same, and that's the same with this stuff. It's like
different gears. Happy Sundays around the corner once again, and for me attending, I mean, it's like the 5th or 6th time for me coming. I want to say, or yeah.
Well, it's the 8th event. Okay, it's weird because it's the 8th event, but we did 2 in 1 year, and we didn't do one because of COVID. So it's the 8th event. We started planning it. So I don't know. We just call it number 8, even though 8th year, 8th annual, 8th whatever, but it might or might not actually be. 8th would be, I don't know,
Yeah.
We've been doing it for a while.
Yeah.
In 2 years, we're still going to call it number 10.
Okay, cool. All right.
Yeah.
So I mean, 8th it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I've been coming to this thing for quite a while now, and I always love it. And at some points it does seem like a year, and then some points it seems like, yeah, this is just like a few months ago.
This does not feel like a year. Like thinking about this happening again, it's like, whoa, that year flew by. Life is going by faster and faster and faster, which freaks me out because I'm really having a great time. So, but this is, we're really looking forward to it. I can give you a little background on some of the choices.
Please.
So last year we went to the mayor, had it's called like 100 businesses in 100 days meeting, talking about his plans for the city. Mayor Rex Richardson. Rex Richardson. And really, really nice guy, and he's great too. I like him a lot.
You guys hang out and stuff, right?
Yeah, we just met up the other day to talk about Happy Sundays. So he's talking about how he wants to wean the oil off of wean the city off of oil money, and onto other stuff like entertainment and aerospace. And so we're like, cool. We've been doing this Happy Sundays things. That's exactly what we're trying to do, is make like a South by Southwest in Long Beach. So last year, we felt like the fest kind of plateaued. We're like, in order to get people to come in from out of town, we have to make it longer. So we decided to do 2 days, which is great. And we're doing space talks, which we invited a bunch of companies, local space companies, to talk about what they're doing. So we don't have any of those space companies this year, but we do have someone from NASA JPL, or robotics company, and another dude named Jason who helped work with NASA to put the first microphone in space and listen to Mars or whatever. I'm not exactly sure what it did, but we'll find out.
We're going to find out on Saturday.
Saturday at noon at the Art Theater.
At the Art Theater in Long Beach. Yeah. So it's August 24th, 25th. Now adding the Saturday, did that present a whole new batch of, I don't want to say issues or problems, just different feats to conquer this year? Or was it kind of copy and paste from, let's just take what we're doing on Sunday and paste it over on Saturday?
Yeah, it's kind of like, okay, the difference between not organizing a festival and organizing a festival is huge. But the difference between organizing a 1-day festival and a 2-day festival isn't that much of a stretch.
Mm-hmm.
All you need to do is just tell the bands that they're playing on Saturday instead of Sunday. And so it's not, I mean, there's been a lot of work. Like Julia and Jess have put so much work into this. Everyone, like, those are the other two people that put this on.
Yes, Jess, and I feel like we've mentioned that name before.
Yeah, Jess Giles.
Yes.
Or Gilles, as it's spelled in French. Giles.
Both are good.
Yeah.
Jay Giles, Jay Giles band.
It's a 3-person team.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, and the amount of stuff that you guys accomplish every year, it's so awesome to see the bill, to see it expanding, you know?
Yeah, and
from an outside perspective, it's
you.
really rad, dude.
Yeah, we're stoked. We're moving it also because there are theaters on 4th Street. We're trying to get kind of more of a citywide thing, and we met up with Mayor Richardson and talked about it. And one of my goals is to either put together a Long Beach history, because Long Beach's music history is rad. I've been doing some digging, and like I said, I talked to Harold Brand from War. War is a Long Beach band.
I did not know that.
I didn't either. And there's a lot, he knows so much. So I'm like, wow, this is actually it's really inspired me to try to make a documentary. So I'm doing some research, and I want to try to make a documentary about Long Beach's music history. At the very least, put together an exhibit for next year's Happy Sundays about Long Beach music history.
Oh,
because
that's awesome.
We met up with Mayor Richardson. He showed us plans for the amphitheater that's going in down by the Queen Mary. And with the Hard Rock Hotel coming in, there's about to be a lot of music happening in Long Beach. But one of our goals is to help support the independent music, because Live Nation is probably going to be who books the amphitheater, which is rad. But the backbone of Long Beach music is the independent venues.
Absolutely.
The foundation of it all, Alex's Bar, the oldest, they've been around the longest here.
And Bamboo Club is doing their
Bamboo
part.
Club is sick.
Plus more unconventional. I mean, I remember I saw you and Julia not too long ago at Compound.
Yeah.
Which was another. I don't know if they're doing stuff.
They
this
are doing
year.
stuff there.
Okay.
Yeah, both days. I love that venue.
Yeah, really nice, mellow feeling. But yeah, and I think it's great that this. I mean, what I really love about Happy Sundays is there's so much attention on these different shops and whatnot of Long Beach, especially in please correct me if I'm pronouncing this wrong. The
Zaffaria.
Zaffaria.
I don't think it's a real word, but it's pronounced Zaffaria.
But that's a district that we're talking about here.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's really, really, really important. And I'm glad that you guys are facilitating this and kind of stimulating some money coming in. I mean, outside of, obviously Hard Rock shirts are going to be sold out. So Hard Rock, Long Beach. I mean,
that's going to be cool. I want to pick one of those up.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I always think it's rad. And there's that coffee joint.
Yeah, down the street. It's nice, huh?
Mm-hmm.
You got the tattoo shop across the street, Fierce City. Nestor is a cool guy, and the work he's doing is awesome. We got Tattoo Heritage Project coming in, who's trying to open up a tattoo museum, because the oldest tattoo shop in the country is in Long Beach.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. But it's not Fierce City. It's
not Fierce
else.
City. It's I don't remember what it's called, but it's down by the Pike.
But it's the oldest one, and everybody should know about it.
Yeah, oldest one, and it's because Long Beach is a port town, and a bunch of Navy sailors coming in and out, and that means tattoo shops.
Yeah.
So, and that's one of the things. Like, there's a lot of really cool history here. A lot of great bands. Nat King Cole is from Long Beach.
I did not know that.
Yeah, and Harry Belafonte did a lot of civil rights work here. So it's got a really cool history, and I've been doing a lot of research on trying to pull that all together into a documentary.
And this is such a great area to do it in, and yeah, the tattoo. Not it's not the exhibit right now, but it's like is a workshop. They're
going to be doing tattoos. They're doing like a
flash sale.
A flash sale, yeah. So I'm probably going to get one.
I was going to say, and that is on the schedule for you to get the tattoo. You're going to do it on the face this year?
Face, yeah, probably.
Face, cool.
Yeah.
And, enter the raffle. Make your suggestions, and whoever has the most suggestions of the face tattoo is what Scott's going to get this year. I'm stoked on that.
Yeah, totally.
The schedule is out right now.
Yeah.
For all these different places. The tattoo flash sale is Saturday.
Both days.
Both days. Okay,
so
cool.
They got a bunch of great tattoo artists. I don't know any names, but
good stuff.
Yeah, it's Tattoo Heritage Project has a big presence. It's got a lot of support by a lot of tattoo artists. So I'm really excited to go check that out. And we got the Space Talks, which is brand new. I'm really stoked on that. And then we got some stuff for the kids, like Long Beach Symphony is bringing over what they call instrument petting zoo. And so in the compound in the mornings, you can go bring your kids and they can play some instruments.
So there's certain venues for Saturday, and then there's certain venues for Sunday as well, right? There's some that are only happening on Saturday and some that are only happening on Sunday.
Alex's Bar is only Saturday. Mm-hmm. Bamboo is both days. Compound is both days. Comedy Playhouse is only on Sunday. Space Talks are only on Saturday. Port City's both days. Unless I'm missing one, that's it. Because, we last year or the year before, we did 11 venues, and that was way too much. So the way we're doing it this year is we're having official venues and unofficial venues. Official venues are the ones that we are booking. Mm-hmm. Unofficial are the rest of the venues in the area that are doing something, but that we aren't booking. So we really want everyone to check everything out.
Just keep an eye out for if you're out and about in the area. And again, that's Alex's Bar, Port City, Bamboo Club, Fear City, Compound, and Art Theater in Long Beach. That's Saturday.
And the Saturday.
And then for Sunday, there's Bamboo Club, Compound, Fear City, Port City again, and comedy at the Playhouse.
Yes. And everything's at happysundaysfest.com. Or you can go to themouth.tv, and there's a link there, too. And
we're going to get into that in a minute. And also, you can also find it on Instagram at Happy Sundays Fest. On Instagram.
Yes, at Happy Sundays Fest. Happy Sundays Fest. Well, I think it's Happy Sundays LBC at Twitter. I don't know. HappySundaysFest.com or Instagram Happy Sundays. Or Facebook Happy Sundays Fest.
You guys are everywhere. We're gearing up for it.
Yeah, we're stoked.
It's going to be exciting.
And we decided this year, because every other year, Julia and I have always either been the backup band that will kind of be there just in case another band has to drop out, and we'll play then, or we've given ourselves some sort of crappy slot. We decided this year to give ourselves 6 o'clock at the Bamboo Club stage on Sunday. So we decided to hook ourselves up this year.
Awesome. It's all ages and it's free.
Yes, free all ages except for Alex's Bar.
Alex's Bar
and Port City.
And Fear City as well as 18 plus.
Just by the nature of tattoo. I mean, some of them are bars. Some of the venues are bars, and bars are 21 and up. Compound's all ages, Bamboo's all ages, and I think the Playhouse is 18 and up.
And again, that information is available through the website, through the Instagram. Those will both be tagged, or those both be linked below, whatever you listen to this on. And yeah, so if you're in just the Southern California, if you're in the California, you know what? If you're in North America, come out. There's enough time when this comes out, again.
Yeah, there's an airport in Long Beach.
There's an airport in Long Beach, or LAX, or John Wayne, Ontario,
Burbank.
Burbank. I mean, it's a lot.
The only problem is that it's first come, first serve, and every venue has a capacity.
Mm-hmm.
Bamboo Club has a large capacity. So does Compound, but like Alex's has, it's like, I think it's 350. So there's a chance that you might not be able to get in where you want to go, but
so get there early.
Depends. Yeah, depends on what. I mean, I don't know how many people are going to show up. It's always, I think earlier is better. People tend to be slow coming out on Sunday. I don't know what it's going to be like on Saturday. We've never done one on Saturday before.
But be there to find out. And it's free, and it's going to be a lovely time. And all the information's at the website and on Instagram and on the Twitter that allegedly exists. We don't know about that. We're going to check the emails on that.
Yeah, checking our emails.
But
it exists.
Yeah,
and
Instagram and the website is the best place, and that's always being updated. Even throughout the day of the festival. So keep an eye out for that. They'll be linked below. And I mean, you mentioned this, the mouth.tv. This is getting off the ground.
This is happening. We do it every Sunday. You can submit a video and we'll play it. The problem with that is that we can't play everything because some stuff is either like formatted wrong or has like one had a QR code, which I don't really understand why that happened. But yeah, our goal is to promote bands that want to show their music videos. And we do it every Sunday, 7 p.m. on our Twitch channel for now. What we'd like to do is make this into a program that happens every week on some sort of major streaming thing that we can pay the bands. Eventually, we'd like to pay the bands through Twitch when we can. Right now, we're not able to, but that's one of our goals.
Still working out the kinks on that, but yeah, if you're interested, I mean, this is a great platform to get started on. So yeah, the mouth.tv.
Yeah, the mouth.tv. And the mouth.tv is what puts on Happy Sundays. Actually, right now we're in talks with our friend Vice, who owns the record label called Think Baby Music Collective in Athens, Greece. And we're putting together a Happy Sundays in Athens, Greece, which I'm stoked on. I really hope it works out.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
it's right now it's it's been green lights all the way so far. So we'll see. But maybe next summer I might do a Happy Sundays Athens. So we can do Happy Sundays is all over the place.
Its home is Long Beach, but it's global. The idea is beyond. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe even to space. I don't know. I haven't seen the talks yet.
Maybe even space.
Yeah, maybe in space.
Yeah.
Again, that is August 24th, 25th.
24th, 25th.
24th, 25th, 2024 at the Zaffaria District. Come out if you can. It's a great time. And Soft Palms Music streaming everywhere. Wherever you get your music, that's where you could find them. Soft Palms
Music across the board.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I love that. That'll be linked below. And one more time with the metadata stuff.
Metadata.
Yeah.
Metadata.
Metadata.
Yeah.
Again, all the codes, the links to get you started on that will be linked below as well. So, yeah, tell a friend that you know who makes music that's posting it on Spotify, all these places. Yeah, and we're going to hash that out.
Yeah, and one of these days, I'll talk to Mick because I would like to do a kind of Q&A about royalties and about metadata because he knows stuff that I don't. And hopefully if there's stuff that neither of us know that someone might be able to help us out too. But yeah, we can go more into metadata and into royalties one of these days. Sorry.
At a later date.
At a later date. But I'll give you all the codes and I'll give you a code, an explanation, and the links.
And that will be, again, below whatever you're listening to this on. And yeah, dude, Scott, number 4 in the bag. Thank you so much,
Yeah,
dude.
thank you.
I appreciate you.
Always stoked.
Thank you. Episode 1, episode whatever it was in the middle there, and then the third one, and now it's like the 204th.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
We'll have to have a party for episode V.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, dude.
Cool. Me
It's gonna
too.
be cool.
Right on.
Scott, you're the man. Thank you so much, dude.
You too.
All right.
Cool. Thanks.